Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Buddies on Buddies, the show with two real life buddies talking about real life buddy action comedy movies. I'm Kenny Lane,
I'm Lucas Hill.
and this is
We're
Buddies on
buddies.
Buddies, the show.
Buddies. Woo. Catch a job.
Woohoo!
How are you, Kenny?
Yay! I'm loving life, kicking ass, taking names, putting
Good.
them in the drawer, and pulling
Good.
them out and yelling them out. All right.
So you beat people up, you take their names, you put it in a drawer, and every now and then you open up that drawer, take out their name. And
I
yell
look.
their
I
name.
look at the name. I like fold it back and quietly smile to myself.
I remember that.
How are you doing?
I'm well. Nothing to report. Life goes really fast, and I'm on a collision course to death. And
Yes,
every day is racked with fear of my mortality. But other than that, yeah, it's great times.
Sweet. Have you read Revelations, that book in the Bible?
No, I haven't.
Check it out. It'll make you feel good.
Okay, I'm putting on my pile here. Revelations.
Yeah.
And who's the author?
I believe it's God, or maybe I think Jesus was the ghostwriter. I don't know.
He was the Holy Ghostwriter.
Oh, hey.
Hey-o.
Book recommendation. Hey, I have I read a book this week, and guess what? It's by a female author.
Is that a first
About
for
a
you?
female. No, I just want to let you know that I am a more of a woke white knight than you and your Barbara Streisand movies. I read female authors, not like Lonesome Dove, Larry McMurtry shit.
Well, you are right. That is where I get off the feminist train, is when it comes to their writing.
I can't be inside that mind alone, opening a book for that long.
I gotta go to sleep at some point,
Yeah.
So what book is it? Are you enjoying it?
It was Tis Herself. I love autobiographies, especially about like actors, comedians, musicians, whatever. It's Maureen O'Hara, who was in a lot of, she died about 6 years ago, but she was in a lot of like John Wayne movies. She was the mom in Miracle on 34th Street and stuff like that. Pretty good read, pretty good book. If you're a fan of those old John Wayne movies like I am and stuff, it was fun. John Wayne comes off pretty good. He actually comes off pretty good in most of the old books I read.
And interviews. I sent you a bunch of people talking about working with them on YouTube.
Right. Just don't look for interviews where he's just interviewed talking about politics and shit. It's not going to be good. But
he is a racist and a sick person.
Well, he was born in 1907, so it's not like it's a huge shock that he wouldn't be super woke. And plus, being John Wayne. But anyway, John Ford though she has some interesting things about John Ford, the famous director. He's a sociopath, a brilliant director, a sadist, and a closet homosexual, apparently.
Oh, good for him.
That was fun to read.
I've never heard that one.
Oh,
he must have been really closeted, because that's like a man's man. Everybody talks about him.
Oh,
as like
a man's man. He was an honorary admiral by the Navy, and there's on his tombstone, it says like Admiral John Ford. But she claims she walked in on him making out with a dude once, and he wrote her love letters, and one of the love letters she posted, not the Duke, but a dude, just a dude, some dude. Okay. That was a famous actor, but not the Duke. But
she wouldn't give the famous actor away, but she gave away the director.
I think it was Cary Grant, but I'm just speculating.
I think it's James Caan.
That, and then she posted some of these love letters he used to write her, and one of them was like, I wish I could like lay down with man and love him like I've always wanted to. And she had some other stuff, but
I wish she did too. That's too bad.
Yeah, I think it adds to me. I never get freaked out about that stuff. I think it just adds to his art or his whatever. I think it's good. It could be true, it could be not. I don't know.
It's always tragic how men had to hide their sexuality, and women in different eras. And this is just a taste of the stuff you get into on Buddies on Buddies.
On Buddies, yeah. The Maureen O'Hara's deep dive. Well, as far as, I won't spend a lot of time with this, but like as far as her book goes, it was interesting to hear about a famous actress in the 50s. Like her husband was this guy. I think he directed a couple of movies too, but he was this huge alcoholic, and like she'd say I'd wake up and in the morning he'd be like pissing in the curtains, blacked out, and just total train wreck, horrible. And she'd go to like her friends like John Ford, and like he'd be like, no, you can't get divorced. Like, what are you thinking? Like that's so it's interesting to read like a famous actress who had this kind of hanger-on husband who's a total drunk, and like everyone was just like, whatever you do, like don't get divorced.
Divorce was career suicide, especially for actors, and in a lot of places it was social suicide. You'd lose your entire social network because divorce was so frowned upon.
Right, but this is like a famous actress and this kind of hanger-on husband who's just a total fucking train wreck, and everyone's telling her like, whatever you do, don't leave that guy. I thought that was really interesting.
And I'm kind of happy for that guy.
Yeah, he found his meal ticket, and
I love a good con man. I love a good con man.
3 cheers for that guy. Hey.
So
wait. Go
ahead. No. You go ahead. You had something big to say.
Should we introduce the movie that we're going to talk about this week?
Yeah, did you want to talk about the movies we already watched, or do you want to introduce the movie, then talk about what we watched?
Well, I'll introduce the movie, then we'll get into it later.
Go for it.
So we're watching the 1990 New Line Cinema release Heart Condition this week, written and directed by James D. Perriott, and starring Bob Hoskins and Denzel Washington.
More on Heart Condition in just a little bit. Right now, Kenny, what did you watch this week that's worth mentioning, if anything?
Well, it's not really worth talking about. It was a fun time. I went to the drive-in to see The Lost City with Megan. That was fun. We parked her rig and laid down the back. She has like a kind of an art, like like watched it through like the canopy window.
Megan, Kenny's girlfriend, is a truck driver, so she has a rig.
Well, we call them rigs up here in the Northwest. I don't know what you refer to down in Fufu, LA. I think you call them your wheelie mobiles or something like that, right?
Wheelie mobiles? No one has trucks in LA. It's all cars and dogs, baby.
It's all cars. Yeah. Trucks are for fucking hardcore men, not us in LA, Los Angeles.
Trucks are fine in other places. I hate when people in LA have trucks. I'm like, what are you doing? You're not going to work in that. Why do you have a big ass fucking truck?
Well, I had a roommate that had a truck for a little bit, and what that taught me in LA, it was like everyone asks you to move constantly. People you barely know. Oh, you have a truck? Can you help me move? Like that was
rare,
just, yeah.
But anyway, what'd you see? You saw Lost City. What'd you think of it?
Well, I will say it's the biggest praise. It's tolerable as far as rom-coms go. I mean, it's very predictable. It's got a lot. It borrows a lot from Romancing the Stone. I mean, the plot is basically just completely lifted. There's actually a big like nod to Romancing the Stone in there. But I like Romancing the Stone, and it's fun. It's whatever, like I don't think it was aimed at me, but if you watch it with your girlfriend or wife or whatever, it's not torturous, I guess. And
it's funny that you mentioned that, because I was in Idlewild and we were walking a really small town up there in the mountains, a few hours outside of LA. And there was a small theater, and I was really intrigued to see it, because I know you showed me your small theater in the town you live. So I walked in, no one gave a shit. And I came right to the theater entrance, just one small theater in Lost City. I was curious what they were playing, because I couldn't find the marquee. And it was Lost City. So I could have sat there and watched Lost City. I didn't. I day drank instead. But we were this close to watching the same movie.
It's definitely a date movie. I probably wouldn't go see it by myself or anything. But yeah, it's okay. It's fine. And Sandra Bullock looks great she's almost fucking 60 now?
Oh, fuck Sandra Bullock. I'm so sick of her shit. I'm just kidding. I don't know anything.
Ouch.
Yeah.
She's gonna see this and just burst into tears. And you call yourself a woke white knight. How dare you?
Fuck Sandra Bullock. I can't do it anymore. I saw Moonfall.
Oh, that new Disney Marvel movie. Of course you did.
No. That's Moon Knight. Moonfall.
Oh, the new Roland Emmerich movie.
Yes.
How was it?
Oh, it's god awful. It's bad for.
I'm shocked.
I knew it would be bad, but it's bad for even him.
I don't know. The last few movies he's made, I saw any 2012 and 10,000 BC, and all of them are really fucking bad.
That's the thing. They've always been bad. I think audiences just caught up to it. I'm like,
I don't know. Well, maybe it's nostalgia anymore. Maybe it's nostalgia, but I saw Independence Day last 4th of July with Megan's daughter and her daughter's boyfriend. I thought it was still kind of fun, but maybe it's just a nostalgia thing. I don't know.
He just does the same thing. He's made the same movie over and over again. I think Red Letter Media said something along the same lines. Like every movie he makes now, aside from some creative flourishes, are the exact same fucking movie. He's still making them.
Yeah, but I mean, you can say about a lot of directors or a lot of artists. I mean, they're still doing the same thing they've done the last 30 years, I guess.
If I'm going to say something and you're just going to poo-poo on it, I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, I'm not just shitting on it, saying you're wrong. I'm just saying there's like, well, yeah, just like you can say that about a lot of different, people.
Whatever. Anyway, I don't suggest Moonfall, even if you are into a really bad movie. I would suggest Lost City. I haven't seen it, but I wish I was watching that instead.
So Moonfall's not even fun bad. It's just bad.
No, I just thought it was bad. There are moments.
Yeah.
I never like an exposition dump in the last act.
Okay. Oh yeah.
It's like the sequel to Matrix, where they had that giant exposition dump to explain what's going on, even though that didn't even make sense. But it's just a bad structure of your story to explain everything late in the movie.
Well, probably because for reshoots or rewrites or something.
Probably.
Like, okay, oh shit. Okay, so this is now what we're doing. It's what's going on. I tend to space out during exposition dumps anyway.
The movie's about the moon crashing in the earth. They picked the most convoluted way to make that happen. Even though audiences would have been fine with it's happening, let's figure it out. They went around. It reminded me of a very young screenwriter. Myself did it a lot and still do. Like, I just make it simple. You trying to,
just trying to force it to make sense. And the more you explain, the less it makes sense, and the more confusing it gets. And
when I see that in a $140 million movie, it is beyond frustrating.
That movie probably lost a shitload. How much did it make? Like 40 million or something, maybe?
We're not doing Moonfall, otherwise I would have researched it, but it didn't make much.
Right.
Especially with the pandemic and everything.
Right. Yeah. When people, I don't think we're excited to see about it anyway. They're like, Moonfall? What the fuck is that?
No. Most people don't even know it existed.
Right.
That brings us to Heart Condition.
Heart Condition.
I've been talking for a while, so why don't you do the plot? God, fucking plot? We're doing a drinking game next time with the thing.
With the thing, Lucas is concerned that he says too much, and I just kind of accepted that I say and like and all the time, so I'm just going to go with it, not be self-conscious about it, not torture myself.
It makes you look like an amateur.
My co-host is.
I strive to be a better person and a better co-host because one of us has to carry the show.
Yeah, I don't think anyone tuning in is confused if we're amateurs or not. I think they're by the first minute or two, they'll know.
We get emails all the time from people asking where we went to journalism school.
Yeah, holy shit. Like, why aren't you guys on the cover of Time magazine? Okay, so Heart Condition is the general concept is a racist cop in LA has a heart attack, and it just so happens that he gets a heart transplant from this guy he's been kind of harassing, stalking, who's seeing his girlfriend. It's a black attorney. His ex-girlfriend is a prostitute. And then he wakes up after the ordeal, and now the black guy, black lawyer played by Denzel Washington, is now a ghost that sort of is following him around and wants him to solve his murder. And that's the general setup of Heart Condition.
That's good. Good job. What did you think of this movie? Rewatching, I know we saw it as kids and we covered that.
Yeah.
And we both had relatively fond movies of it as kids.
Yeah.
I remembered far less of it than I thought I would. I thought I was more familiar with the movie. But I think we're in the same boat. So what did you think of Heart Condition rewatching it as a full-blown adult?
Well, I think actually I've seen it like probably 3 times once as a kid. I think I saw it like again like 10, 15 years ago or something, like revisiting it. Basically, I think like I was surprised at how much I kind of enjoyed it. I don't think it necessarily deserves my praise, but I will say that one thing I noticed about it was that by the end of the movie, I actually cared about the characters. I was kind of invested. Whereas a lot of movies we cover on this show, like Skip Trace, Showtime, Partners, like I couldn't care. I don't really give a shit if they live or die.
Not to jump to the end, but I was surprised how effective that was at the end with the last picture with his arm around him. He goes, "What's wrong with his arm?" He's like, "Oh, it's part of his heart condition." Then he slowly fades in. No, it's his arm around his buddy. It's like, yeah, it worked.
Buddy.
Yeah.
So that works. So I'll give it up for that. I mean, it really tanked at the box office. It was panned by critics. I think it made like $4 million at the time, which was pretty bad. I think most movies at the time make around, I think it probably cost around $20-25 million or so, which is like a medium budget movie for the time. But making like a fourth of your budget back,
it was pretty hot actors too.
At the time, yeah, I think Denzel was coming off his Academy Award for Glory, and Bob Hoskins got the big success of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, an Academy Award nomination for that movie. So yeah, it's but it was completely panned by critics. Recently, Vulture like ranked all the Denzel Washington movies, and it was dead last as like, you know. So why do you think it was so panned at the time?
I'm not sure. It is light on action. It is racist. And even back then, the
Mhm.
critics were all over the racism. But I
Right.
thought the movie was tackling racism, not just being overtly racist. But
Yeah,
I
like for yeah, go ahead.
but I think maybe it had something to do. I don't know. They just hated it. Maybe they thought that Bob Hopkins was unredeemable racist and shouldn't have been the protagonist of a movie with the redemption arc.
It's pretty harsh at the beginning how what a fucking not only what a racist he is, but what a horrible cop he is. We should have a ranking for like most outrageous cop authority use in this, because at the
He
beginning,
is unhinged.
unhinged, and like he sees Denzel Washington as the lawyer getting in a car with his ex-girlfriend and just like pulls out his gun, starts firing in the middle of this crowded square.
That was
I was like,
really jarring.
yeah, I was like, whoa, and then chases him down and then punches him in the gut and then calls him the N-word, you know.
Well, it makes sense because also in that scene, it's a very hard movie to get into because Denzel Washington comes out and slaps Bob Hoskins' ex-girlfriend.
Accidentally. Accidentally.
Yeah, right. But in doing
Yeah.
research on the movie, it's because that
Mhm.
character was originally supposed to be a pimp. That's
A
why it's a
flamboyant pimp,
lawyer
yes.
with prostitutes who's hitting women. And so they
Right.
rewrote it on per Denzel Washington's request to do the movie, but they left all the fucking like pimp
Well,
aspects of him and all the women he's with, the nice apartment, how rich he is, all this stuff. They did like the most minimal of research to change the character.
Well,
or
when I saw that
rewriting.
trivia note, yeah, they said that like they had a hard time they actually had a lot of interest in the Bob Hoskins role, which is funny because like, you know, I guess like Gene Hackman was interested, like Dennis Hopper, who
Your
else?
boy Brian Dennehy.
Brian Dennehy, yeah. But the black actors didn't want to tackle that part because it was like this flamboyant pimp. But I think like the hook of the movie was like, what if a racist cop is partnered with a dead pimp? You know, like that. I think that's what probably like the studios at the time were like, that sounds funny, you know, like, and I think
it was probably a strong script too. It just got very problematic when they were trying to get a black actor to fucking do the role. No one wanted to be a flamboyant black pimp. No one was going to do that.
No one's gonna do that. Plus, in this ghost like cheesy buddy action comedy, you know, thing. And I think Denzel might have had a point because I think by the end, like you do like these characters. I think if it was a black pimp, it would have been even harder to, you know, like these characters at all. So there is something to it there. But yeah, I think they did like he's a lawyer. It's like, well, he's a lawyer for hookers just out of the bottom of his heart. Like what?
They actually throw away a line for that, how he doesn't do, he's paid by their bosses basically to be their lawyers.
Right, yeah.
It's not like pro bono. That's why I said, why do you think I have so much money? It's not because the hookers pay me or whatever. The women, all the women in this movie were problematic. They were either hookers, they had babies, or they were motherly, and that's all the agency they had whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like a Sam Peckinpah movie. But I did think Chloe Webb though was really good. She doesn't really get a lot of this like kind of her. Yeah, well, she was great, you know, Sid and Nancy, but I think this and that are probably her like two like leading lady parts. So I think they could have cast like a typical like good looking actress at the time in the role or something. But I thought she was great in that.
Wasn't she the one in Twins too? Danny DeVito's
was she in Twins?
Interest?
Oh, I think so. And then it was Kelly Preston was the other one.
Does Hollywood just think she's just ugly enough to be with short,
stocky, bald guys? Yeah, I don't know. Well, Gary Oldman, he's still short, but you know, yeah, I don't know, but I thought she was good. I did think though, like the whole, if we're talking about what critics panned at the time, I think maybe at the time they were just tired of these kind of ones of this, ones of that, these, you know, buddy action things. Plus,
because it was 1990, it was the end of the 80s.
Right. Tango and Cash had kind of already taken it to the extreme, but like, I think though that the premise of this sort of like ghost is a hard pill to swallow, like, you know, and not only that, but like the huge coincidence that Bob Hoskins has a heart attack, and it just so happens that the guy, the heart that gets transplanted, is the guy he's been harassing. Like, you think about how many people are in Los Angeles, like that always throws me when they do that in movies. You
Story
know?
contrivances. In movies like this, I don't mind because we're dealing with the fucking ghost, but it is very hard,
Right.
like I said, to get into this movie because when he shows up as a ghost, it's very difficult to buy.
Right.
There's racism and
Right.
abuse to women right off the bat. And Bob Hoskins plays a fucking lunatic who is very hard to care
Yeah.
about at first, anyway.
Right.
By the end, he earns it. He's such a great
But
actor. He's like one of the best. He's so good.
I think the caring about these characters at the end has a lot to do with the performances and the actors. I think they really carry this material a long way. It's written and directed by James D. Perriott, and he is a big TV guy. He's produced everything, or been a producer on everything from like The Incredible Hulk to Grey's Anatomy. But I think this is kind of his only movie, even though he's listed as director of 2 other movies on IMDb. But the first one is called Voyage from the Unknown in 1982. I guess it was a TV movie that was cobbled together from a bunch of other things that maybe got a theatrical release in some other country somehow. Another movie called Good from 1998, not to be confused with the movie Good starring Viggo Mortensen, where he plays like a professor that joins the Nazis. But Good there's like nothing on it. I couldn't, like, other than like some of the cast members who I have no idea who they are. So yeah, this is, I guess, his only big theatrical movie they let him write and direct.
It's too bad because I liked its focus on character. It was teetering on shouldn't even be in the show because there's not a lot of action until the ending. But they really focus, especially in the second act, on the characters, their development, their growth. Their arcs are very clear. Their connection as friends is so believable.
Yeah.
One of the best as far as the buddy movies we watched that actually did that so well.
Oh, yeah.
Almost to the point where this is just a really good movie. And then it's brought down by all these major issues.
Right.
Hold it back.
Well, I think it does drag in the middle a little bit for me this time. I think the end, like, shootout scene is a really well done action scene.
The gun,
I love the idea.
The gun work is like, you feel the gun. It's beautiful. He's calling it out. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on over that, but I love action and like gun work where it feels visceral, and it does.
Right. It feels like this is actually happening, or like this. It's not just this over edited, just chaos or something. And then I love the premise of having your ghost just walk ahead of you and just tell you who's around the corners and stuff. Like, that was a really neat. Like,
and he's having a heart attack, so he's dying.
Yeah.
He has the ghost. They have a baby. The guys are way better than all this shit's coming together at once, and it's just an awesome action sequence. Awesome.
Yeah, it's general tension there, and it only. I noticed on IMDb it's ranked like 5.5, which is only 0.2 degrees higher than Partners. Partners, I don't know why. So this is basically on the same level as Partners as everyone's rating them, and I couldn't have cared less if both Ryan O'Neal and John Hurt got shot in the face at the end of Partners.
I would have laughed. I
would have laughed. It might have been a better movie, but it had zero tension. Didn't care. Like, nothing built to anything. But see, I'm kind of perplexed a little bit, I guess, why this movie is rated so low.
I think it's the racism. They dropped the N-bomb a billion times.
Yeah.
Even then, I think they have a lot of black actors playing these characters who bring up that he's being racist, and they could, what's the word I'm looking for? They get on him for it, so it's not like he's just being casual racist. I don't think it's casual racism. I think it has something to say about racism. At least that's what they were going for, but I still think it turns off a lot of people. It's not exactly do the right thing, but it's trying.
But it's more like 48 Hours, where the character of Nick Nolte is racist. The movie itself is not racist. It's just like, that's the character, and the whole arc of the fucking character is that he kind of, learns a better way, or learns right from wrong, kind of a thing.
This was done way better than 48 Hours. In 48 Hours, I thought
I'd argue that too.
Yeah.
I did love at the end the wedding scene when everyone's coming out and it's like all the characters are there, like the hookers and the guys in the bowling alley that hated him. Like, everyone was
Bubba's there. The hooker.
Everybody's invited to the wedding.
The young cop was with at the opening. I thought that was great too. I clocked that as well. I also, God, fuck, Lucas, you don't say You're not an boy anymore.
Hey, take a drink.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's harder than you guys think. Using the real baby was fucking terrifying. They did stuff with an actual baby in the movie, which I was like, I don't think I can watch this. There's a fucking baby.
Drop it out a window.
They're screaming. They're shooting fake guns. A baby's wailing. great tension, but this is like in the Westerns when they used to kill horses for a shot. Like, Jesus
Right.
fucking Christ.
I don't think they would have gone that far, but maybe. maybe.
Also, again, I'm gonna drink. I'm just gonna do that from now on. No.
Yeah. If I say like or everyone take a drink too.
Okay. I love his racist conspiracy theory rant. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I thought that was so cool.
On the beach in Malibu.
and he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? You fucking psycho!"
Yeah.
Because it's so in tune with our current climate, depressingly, where people think like black people are ridiculous.
Well, it has something to say. I think that's actually obscene. Where it's contemporary. Where I think that it would be like something that a race would. It's not just about a guy he doesn't like that's fucking his ex-girlfriend. It's like the whole fucking race is like an issue in his head. So.
And I love Denzel Washington's speech about how he wants to keep everybody in the little compartments in their fishbowl.
Yeah.
Because he can't stand anybody having their own agency. It was just great. It was good stuff. It's way smarter than it had any business being. And way smarter than the first 15 to 20 minutes will let you think this movie is. It gets pretty smart, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, uh-oh, and then here we go, and then like, okay, but what about the song at the end? Bonnie Raitt's "Have a Heart." You remember that song?
Fucking. First of all, the score was so distracting and horrible throughout the entire movie, and then they end it with the fucking home run with "Have a Heart," and then emotional scene, and that song is so emotional, and they have an emotional moment. It's like, what the fuck is this movie doing to me?
Yeah. I love Bonnie Raitt. I thought that song was perfect. I maybe actually kind of missed the movie tie-in song, because if you watch the music video to "Have a Heart," it's got a bunch of scenes from Heart Condition, like sprinkled in, and I kind of like missed because they don't really do movie tie-in songs anymore. I think the last one I can kind of think of maybe was that "Star Is Born" Lady Gaga one.
So she wrote "Have a Heart" for this movie.
I don't think she actually wrote it for it. I mean, it was released tie into it. I don't know if they did a soundtrack to it, because like with the music video, it's got all the clips from it and stuff, but the lyrics don't really match up really with the movie. It's so I think she just had this song with like, write something with a heart in it. Okay, have a heart, like the Power of Love for Back to the Future, where the lyrics don't really, but it's fine because it's the Back
and
to the
often
Future
they
song,
have like 5 artists write songs and then pick one.
Right. But that happened a lot. Like "Kiss from the Rose" for Batman. Like none of those lyrics have anything to do with fucking Batman, or like the "Don't Want to Miss a Thing" Aerosmith song. What the fuck does that have to do with Armageddon? But sometimes like the lyrics match up. You could absolutely tell it was written for the movie, but a lot of times it's like it's a deal. It's like okay,
Ghostbusters.
Give us a song.
I'm pretty sure he didn't write Ghostbusters on his own, and then the movie about Ghost came out.
I'm pretty sure that movie is about actual Ghostbusters. But
let's talk about the kid character, the young detective who's completely out of place, the baby-faced 20-year-old.
Yeah.
He was very distracted for a long time, but he gave me an actual laugh when his partner hugs Bob Hoskins, and then the kid comes in and gives him a hug, all sincere. I laughed out loud.
Yeah.
I actually thought that was fucking funny.
I don't remember too much of his performance other than just like them like laughing at him like getting molested by the hooker. They're like, he's don't worry about it, just go with it, go do it.
It's like so weird.
Just,
he literally looks like he's 13, and he's it's hilarious. He was so out of place. I guess he's the waiter. Do you remember the waiter at the restaurant when they go to the nice restaurant?
Yeah, that's another fancy restaurant scene that pops up in these movies.
They can't even understand his accent, and they make fun of being in a fancy restaurant.
Having worked as a waiter, like that fucking always annoys me in those scenes when like he's trying to tell them the specials. They just keep laughing at him, and he's like, like, what would you like? And they're like, well, I don't know, blah blah blah. I'm just like, just tell me what you want, like, so you can move on to the next table.
I thought the actor who played the waiter was good, but I couldn't find anything else on him.
Yeah.
The getting ready montage when they get them all pretty, that goes on for far too long, and they don't need it. He could just show up ready to go. But it's
very Pretty Woman,
so fucking weird out of place.
And he goes to having a full head of hair. And then
he got a haircut at an expensive place. That's what happens when you get a haircut.
But then his whole bald spot's gone, and then like it's back when he after he goes, he's like, fuck this, and then like throws his suit in the garbage, but then his hair's gone. I guess they put a toupee on him or something. I don't know.
Dildo jokes, wasn't expecting that.
But always welcome.
Always welcome. Love a good dildo. His coworkers dancing and singing as he's waking up from his heart transplant. The fuck was
A little
that?
out of place.
A little
I don't know.
weird.
He seems very beloved, and yeah, but why? Who knows?
I think that's about it. Oh, drugs are so evil in this movie. They make drugs out to be the most evil thing you could ever imagine is
Well,
drugs.
that's like 80s movies like Beverly Hills Cop, Lethal Weapon. It's always like cocaine dealers are the scum of the fucking earth, you know.
But it's 1990. I thought they would be a little out of
It
that
was
by
still
then.
no, they were still kind of doing. They kind of got out of that towards like the middle 90s, I think, where every villain is just like a cocaine or heroin dealer. But
Right.
it was just a go-to during like the Reagan years of the war on drugs. It was just such a easy like they're like kind of like how it's Nazis. You just have to say they're Nazis. Okay, they're evil. Good. It's like they're drug dealers. Oh, okay, they're just scum of the earth. Great.
They did pull off something better than Showtime did with the main antagonist having very little screen time, but still having a presence. They were still scary.
Yeah.
And I think it was that great scene where he just has the baby. And it's scary that
Mhm.
the main antagonist is holding the baby and talking all this fucked up shit.
Well, yeah, is he gonna shoot up the baby? Like, what the hell's he gonna do and stuff? And he's such a like douchey yuppie with the sunglasses and shit. You just
Right.
hate him and stuff. Yeah.
So in that they succeeded. Is there anything else you want to touch on?
Not really. So I guess like ultimately, I think this was kind of a nice surprise. Like I think I think it's a pretty underrated movie. Considering it's like completely forgotten and like it's not, and there's completely no. I don't think there's any cult following to this movie at all, like
No,
Big
it's not.
Lebowski or anything.
I was
Yeah.
actually researching it. Some other podcasts did it, so I didn't listen to it because
Mhm.
I don't listen to podcasts. I make them. I'm sure.
Nice.
I looked at the transcript.
I don't watch movies. I make movies. Yeah. I wish I could say that, but no.
What person makes movies that doesn't watch them? It's like a you bull thing to say.
Yeah.
But they hated it. I just read a little bit of the transcript. They hated it right off the bat, and understandably.
Yeah.
They get it.
Well, I kind of get, but kind of don't. I get like I think it's people that just saw the poster, and it's like that looks like a shitty movie, like a cop and a ghost. Like at the time too, there was always shitty movies like Ghost Dad coming out and shit. So I think it was just one of those like it's like Whoopi Goldberg and a T-Rex, Anthony Michael Hall and a gnome. How about Bob Hoskins and a ghost? Like I think I'd be surprised that like people just watch the whole thing and still just like this is a total piece of shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I was surprised by it, but I get it because if the first 15 minutes, like I said, it's a hard movie to get into. So I could imagine
Right.
watching the first 15 minutes and never watch another second of this movie and thinking, what the fuck were they thinking? And to some
Yeah,
extent,
yeah.
what the fuck were they thinking? They could have just had two great actors
yeah.
like Denzel Washington and Bob Hoskins carry a cop movie. Instead, they do
Well,
all these crazy
yeah.
gimmicks.
Again, the ghost thing didn't bother me that much. The fucking coincidence of the one heart transplant guy, it actually reminded me of when I watched Collateral like a year or two ago, when after living in LA for a long time, like the twist in that movie, when you know how many fucking people are in LA, and it's like his first passenger, Jada Pinkett Smith, who he had a connection with, just so happens to be the third, target victim on Tom Cruise's list. It threw the whole movie off for me. I don't know. It's just such a fucking whopper of a coincidence. I don't know. This is like lazy writing.
It is. It's contrivances. You need them to get through most stories, but there are clever ways to go about it.
Right.
But this one is kind of the point of the movie, so it didn't really shake me as much.
It's where
as
the
it
movie,
did.
right? It's where the movie jumps off. So it's like if you're gonna go with that and you go with the ghost, fine. So yeah.
Yeah, you're saying I won't get on board with that logic, but the ghost
Right.
in the heart, yep, no problem
Yes.
there. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
I just don't. If it's one guy and one guy needs a transplant, and this happened to be the guy I'm stalking, that's stupid. But
I would love to,
I'll roll with
see
that.
you this in the theaters where you're just like, oh, what the hell? That's bullshit. Oh, cool, he's a ghost.
Yeah. I'd be yelling fake until the ghost thing happens. Like, oh, shh, everyone quiet down. I want to hear this.
Shut up, guys, shut up. The movie's getting good.
Yeah.
How would you rate this thing?
I give it like 3.5, 4 out of 5 for the buddy action comedy scale. Yeah. How about you?
I give it 3.5, 4. I think I'm the same. And then as a
Yeah.
movie, a solid 3 out of 5 because it was a surprisingly solid little fucking movie. And look, you can go into it and just watch it for Bob Hoskins and Denzel Washington playing off each other.
They're great.
That's the price of admission. Those are two actors towards the prime of their careers. It was great. It was cool. Bob Hoskins is such a force on camera. even when he's overacting, he's so great to just watch because he's so intense and you buy everything he's doing because he's crazy.
Yeah. I think he likes like working with that fucking like nobody there shit, like watch Roger Rabbit when he's like wrestling around with a hamburger in public and stuff. And like, I remember my dad was like a Bob Hoskins fan. He wasn't a fan of very many actors, but he's like, he's doing this shit again, like fucking wrestling with the goddamn nothing there. Yeah, hamburger again, Roger Rabbit.
I bet his quote was huge at that point. I would have loved to
Probably.
see Gene Hackman in this role, though. As Kenny knows, but Gene Hackman's like one of my favorite actors. It would have been
Luke loves Gene Hackman.
fun to see him wrestle with the hamburger with no one else there.
Well, yeah, I mean, he didn't do very comedies. Even Royal Tenenbaums is a comedy, but he's basically just playing, I think, cranky old Gene Hackman in it. You know.
Yeah, he does that in almost every movie. But yeah, he did some.
Well, we might get to Loose Cannons some down the line. That would be a good one to check out. But speaking of, what are we doing next week?
Next week, I believe we landed on Nice Guys because we were almost going to do that, and you wouldn't let me change it. So we're just going to do Nice Guys this time.
The Nice Guys, Russell Crowe and Ryan. Which Ryan is it?
Gosling.
Gosling. Okay.
Directed and written by Shane Black, who we are both.
Shane Black.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have good memories of that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since around the time it came out. Maybe I've seen it twice, but I'm looking forward to watching it again because I don't remember a lot of it outside of some of the trailer moments.
Yeah, I had the poster up in my apartment before Megan moved in and like made me take all my juvenile crap down. Besides these, vinyls behind me, and now it actually looks like an adult lives here.
Yeah.
Instead of a guy with like Keanu and Nice Guy posters up in the.
How old are you?
I'm almost 40. But hey, 40 is the new 13, so whatever.
I'm pretty proud of myself for being on the framing my posters game when I was still single.
Yeah.
I grew out of that.
Well, bully for you.
Yeah, it's really changed my life.
Yeah. Well, when you're recently divorced and you don't care, it's just attack a TV, wires everywhere, and that's all you
We haven't really talked about that with the audience. Let's talk about your divorce. I'm just joking.
Oh yeah, let's do a deep dive.
What did you learn about yourself when you watched Heart Condition?
Heart Condition. I learned that I'm kind of a sucker for these type movies that are done well, and
you've learned that already before, though.
I know, especially when they throw in a pop song at the end, and also you can redeem characters that are pretty seemingly unredeemable at the beginning of the movie. How about you? What'd you learn?
I learned that a well-placed song and good actors can get you teary-eyed at the end of a pretty generic and forgettable movie. And
Did you shed a tear?
No, I didn't shed a tear, but I felt the emotion. I felt what they were going
coming up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I stomped it down where it belongs, deep in the pit of my stomach, where it never comes out ever.
Good, because I was about to vomit if you said that you actually shed a tear.
Shed a tear? I cried my eyes out.
I haven't cried since I was 6, so that's when someone cut my fucking leg off. So whatever.
I only cry when I orgasm. For a lot of reasons.
Fair enough. Yeah. I was gonna follow up a question with that, but I don't want to.
We'd be here all night.
Yeah, I was like, no, let's leave it at that.
Do we have any fan mail? We don't have any fan mail. No one has fan mail anymore.
Everyone stopped watching, I think, around Skip Trace. So we don't have fan mail. I was actually thinking about, because I'm Facebook friends with a bunch of, kind of character actors and stuff. I was thinking about asking one of them on Messenger to if they want to make an appearance, because a friend of a friend, they asked Tommy Chong to be on on his podcast, and he said yes. And I was like, cool. And I looked at the podcast; it has 40 views.
Yeah, if you're not doing anything, they like to talk. I think we should do a movie where we know one of them are in it, and then have them come on for a little bit. They don't care. People like to talk about themselves, and they got nothing going on. A lot of these guys aren't working a lot.
All right, so Nice Guys. If anyone's in that wants
Please
to talk with us next week,
email us at buddies@gmail.com,
and we'll set something up. Or if you just want to talk to us off camera, we would be happy with that too. So.
Just email us. We'll give you our number. We will talk to you.
In fact, anyone who wants to email us, just anyone who wants to be on the show.
Just email us. You want to be on the show? You're on it.
No, fine, you're on it. You got it.
We're not fancy here, guys, is what we're trying to say.
No.
And girls.
No. The production values are not impressive. So
No. And plus, Kenny's really good at interviewing people, so we want to get those skills out front and center.
absolutely. Hi, Megan.
Oh, hey, Big Daddy.
Hey there. Megan just got home.
I hear that. Tell her we all say
Yeah.
hi.
Everybody says hi.
Hi.
She says hi.
Everybody.
Everybody from internet land.
Oh, hi, everybody from Internet Land.
Okay.
We'll see you guys next week with another Buddies on Buddies. I'm Lucas Hill.
I'm Kenny Lane.
Smell you later,
Bye.
masturbators.